It is the time for settlement, and we all feel that there are many things that come up suddenly. And in Islam they say, Qayamat ka samay, which is the time for settlement. And in that Qayamat ka samay, they say that all the dead bodies will just, come out, and God will come at that time. So now we understand that it's not the dead bodies, but our past karmas that were lying dead, that we had long forgotten, that I did all this karma in the last 63 births. They are all coming up suddenly. And then, we have this feeling sometimes that something is coming up suddenly and I have not done something to bring this about. Yes. So if you look at even physical diseases, there is no sure shot method to avoid them. Because even if you do everything that's possible under the sun, still, people get hit by the disease. And I remember there was this one brother, he called me some days back and he said, Didi, what is the method to make sure that you will not fall ill, at least with a chronic disease? So he said, cold, cough and fever is fine, but I don't want to get anything beyond that. So he said, what can I do to make sure that I don't get it? So I said, there is no method to make sure, but the only method is that you be sure that even if anything comes your way, you are stronger than it is because you belong to Baba. And when you are stronger than something, then it shouldn't bother you because you can deal with it. So instead of thinking about what is to come or it shouldn't come, just think about the fact that you're with the Almighty now, and whatever comes, you will always be stronger than that because you're with Baba. And it is not a concern for you because you can cross it, you can deal with it. And you see that there are many things that come up suddenly, whether it is health issues. Sometimes, children also, even Baba's children, they say that, suddenly some fear has crept in. Yes, suddenly there is some fear. And there was this one Mata, and she wrote to me some days back that I have been living in this house for the last 25 years. And suddenly I feel afraid to live in the house alone. And I also feel afraid, and my daughter also feels afraid to stay in the house. And I don't know what's the reason for the fear, but we are not able to sleep, and these are the things. So you see that sometimes your mind just acts weirdly, sometimes the body acts up. So all of these things are happening suddenly. And what is the explanation for this? The explanation is that all the dead karmic accounts which we had forgotten, they are all coming up. And then you see that it's not just the body or the mind, but sometimes it's also relationships. Yes, suddenly somebody who was very favorable to you suddenly takes a U-turn, and they start becoming not favorable to you, and they are just, their mind starts working differently, and then you don't know what to do. Yesterday they were in love with you, they liked you, they were helpful towards you, and suddenly all that has changed and they don't care for you, and they are not there for you. So then what do you do? And so these are the situations that we are facing. Or suddenly the finances change, something else in the some other situation changes, you get involved in a legal thing and something comes up. So these are the things that are happening suddenly. But Baba says, although it may be happening suddenly and it looks like it doesn't have any precedent, or it's just happening out of the way, or it is very bizarre or weird, but it is very much in the scheme of things, because it is an effect of past karma that you did and forgot. And Baba says that when these things come up, first thing you do is not go into the question, why is this happening? Because why is a very open-ended question. You cannot find any concrete answer for this. Because sometimes you start thinking about, you don't think in the unlimited way, but in a very limited way, in a very body conscious fashion, you start asking why. And then you start asking, what wrong did I do in my knowledge that is making this happen? So, why me? And then what happens is, there is no answer to that, because the reason why this is happening is because of past karmic accounts, and it may not have any connection with what you did in the present. And if you ask in a body conscious manner, why me, then you want to find some answer in the present. Yes, something that you did in the present, and when you don't find it, it baffles you. But the thing is that don't go there, because Baba says that now we have unlimited knowledge, our buddhi is unlimited, and now we understand everything in the broader perspective. And in the broader perspective, we have answer to this why. We understand that it is some past karmic settlement coming up in this form. Now, I would also like to tell you something that I have churned over vis-a-vis what I have heard through many people, that sometimes people say that when some person becomes an instrument to cause trouble to you, then you have a karmic account with that person, right? But the thing is, I don't believe that. I believe that you have a karmic account which is negative, and it gets manifested through that person. It's not with that soul that you have a karmic account. Okay, so if I am causing trouble to somebody, then I'm just an instrument. It's not that that soul has a karmic account with me, but that soul has a negative karmic account which is getting manifested through me. And why I think this is like this and not the way other people are saying, because if you believe that I have a karmic account with this soul, then how can you settle that karmic account by having yoga with Baba? Then you will have to settle it by juggling with that soul. Yes, so if it is with that soul, then that soul is very important factor in that karmic account, and then you have to deal with that soul. But no, Baba says that you don't have to pay attention to that soul. You have to pay attention to having remembrance of me, and then that karmic account will get settled. So the way I understand a karmic account is, whenever we do karma on the dictates of Ravan, so under the influence of vices, whenever we act and do karma, then what happens is it incurs a personal negative karmic account for me. And then that personal negative karmic accounts gets manifested in the way of, physical, mental health, or relationships, or finances, or other difficult situations. But then it's a very personal account. It has got nothing to do with the situation or with the soul involved. And that is why you don't need two people to settle the account. You can settle it by being with Baba and following Baba's Srimad. And although, that soul is there and that soul is causing the trouble, but if you remember Baba, and if you don't do anything to that soul, you're not even communicating or you're not even talking, but if you're remembering Baba, and if you're just having these good feelings and good vibrations and you're acting on Srimad, then that karmic account gets settled and the soul doesn't bother you anymore. So this is something that I believe is the truth, and not the other way, like I have a karmic account with the soul, and if it's with that soul, you need to settle it with the soul, not with Baba. So if that soul is and you have to do something with the soul so that you settle it. So Baba says that now we are at a place where we have 63 births of karmic burden, and they keep coming up. And then what we have to do is we have to settle it with yoga power. And what is yoga power? So in the meditation today, we were practicing that I am a soul and I am an actor, and when I, the actor, act, then I don't have to pay attention to the scene or the co-actor. I have to act on the basis of the director's direction and on the basis of the knowledge of the script. So if you have been an actor in a drama, then you know that when you go to the stage to play your part, then you don't look at what the co-actors are doing or what the scene is, because you know the script, you keep that script in your mind, and you remember the director's words about how you have to act, and you just act according to that. And when you do that, then whatever the scene, whatever the co-actors you are working with, you become a hero actor. So that's how we settle our karmic accounts. So when Baba says that you settle your karmic accounts by having yoga power with me, it means that I operate in this world, but I don't operate on the basis of what situations are like or what other people are behaving like with me. The basis of my thought, word and behavior is what has Baba instructed me to do. Yes, so you may speak softly to me, you may speak harshly to me, you may be rude to me, you may be violent to me. But what is my direction that Baba has given me? What are the directions of Baba that Baba has given me for playing my part? So Baba has told me that I have to think sweetly, speak sweetly and behave sweetly. So how you behave doesn't matter, and I only behave on the basis of yoga power. And when you start doing that, when you start being a director's actor, when you start doing everything according to when you know the script in the drama. So you see that if there is an actor and he knows that this is the final scene of the movie being acted out, then he knows that in this scene there'll be a lot of violence and fighting and this and that. And then he doesn't get surprised by what form of fighting is happening, or what form of violence is happening, because he already knows this is the last scene and this is how it is supposed to be. Similarly, we know for a fact that this is the last phase of the drama, and in this phase every soul is tamo pradhan and every element of nature is also tamo pradhan. They don't have any power. So when something doesn't have power, then how will it behave? It will behave very, very impulsively or very unpredictably. Yes, something that doesn't have power can behave very unpredictably. Have you seen a faulty machine? It's working fine one moment and then the next moment it can cause great damage because right now everything is a faulty machine. These 5 elements of nature and the souls that are there, everybody is faulty, and faulty machines are very unpredictable. So you don't go into the form of unpredictability, you don't go into the expansion of what kind of unpredictable they are. You don't start thinking about and ruminating over why are they doing this or why are they behaving like this. You just play your part according to Baba's directions and you know the script, so you are not surprised in any case. You are not shocked, you are not surprised, you don't question, because you know this is how it is going to be in the script. So Baba says, when you have yoga with me and when you do everything according to the knowledge of the drama and according to my directions, and your actions are not motivated by the scene in the drama or by the behavior of the co-actors, then you settle it. And you see, it is very interesting that for the last 63 births, we have acted in a wrong way. So we didn't have access to the director or the script. Yes, we didn't know Baba, we didn't know drama. So what we did is, we started being an actor who acts in a manner that is being influenced by the act of the co-actor and the scene of the drama, right? That was a wrong way of acting. That's now not how acting is done. But we have acted like that for 63 births. So even now, you know, there is that inertia, that pull, that tendency that you again start paying attention to the co-actor's behavior or the scene in the drama. But you have to just detach yourself very consciously from that and know that I don't have to think, speak and act according to this parameter, but I have to think, speak and act according to what Baba has told me, and in knowledge of the script, I don't have to be shocked or surprised or put a question mark. And when you start doing that, then you settle all your karmic accounts. Yes. And I remember, you know, there was this sister, she's a surrendered sister in a center, and she once, in my very initial years, I had a conversation with this sister, and she gave me a very interesting perspective. She told me that in the center she lived, there were 15 surrendered sisters. So there were 15 sisters in one center. And then she said that in our center, you know, I know that according to knowledge, I have been a Brahmin, so as a Brahmin, I am with the souls that I have most karmic accounts with. So you know that whether in the Lokik family or in the Alokik family, when you come into a family, the reason why that's your family is because you have deep karmic accounts, right? So she said that I bear this knowledge in my head. And then, you know, there was this one sister, she was my roommate. and we were two sisters in one room, and she was the complete opposite of me. So I would like the light switched off, she would like the light switched on. I would listen to classes on the earphone, she would listen to classes on her phone in the speaker. And in every aspect, we were so different. And then she had this way of putting across her point, which was not sweet or subtle. She would just, if I'd said something that I find this uncomfortable, so could you please change it? Then she would say, you have come today, you change. I'm not going to change. So she would be just very upfront and rude. And then I understood that I have to live with this sister for maybe a lifetime, because maybe this is the center I'm going to be in the long haul, and then I'm going to be with her for maybe the lifetime. So what I did is I stopped thinking about her, and I just bore in mind what I have to do according to Baba's directions and what I have to become. I kept that aim in my heart, that I have to become a deity, and so my thinking, my speaking should be soft, sweet, and full of good wishes and good feelings. And I started doing that. And she said that after 3 years, that sister is my best friend. And she is the one who supports me like anything. And she said that now we are almost on the same page, not in terms of our habits, but in terms of our, spiritual alignment. We are very much on the same page, and even if I have a thought, she understands it and she responds to it. And you see, this is how you settle karmic accounts. And in Sangam Yuga, if you settle karmic accounts, then those same souls who looked like, they are your virodhi. So they are somebody who are unfavorable to you. They will change into favorable ones. Because when your karmic account is settled, then the manifestation of that karmic account, which is the behavior of the soul, will change suddenly. And that karmic account will settle only when you unplug your attention from all that is going on and just play your role in the awareness of what is Baba's direction and what is Baba's dictate in this scene. So you don't have to think about what is the scene, what is the behavior of the co-actor, but just focus on Shrimad and keep the script in your mind that in the time of karmic settlement, this is normal and natural, and then I have to keep my eye on the next scene, on where the script is going. So keep your aim in your heart that I have to behave according to my aim and objective of finding a good place and position in Satyug. So this is something that Baba is saying today. And then Baba uses the analogy of a stork and a swan, and the analogy of a flower and a thorn. And Baba says that in the world there are storks and you are becoming a swan. And what is a swan and a stork? So Baba says a swan is somebody who is completely viceless, and a stork is vicious. So Baba says that in the world we don't know that. So did you know before coming to Gyan that there was a world in which everybody was completely viceless? So we did not think of a world where there were no vices, no lust, no ego, no anger, attachment, greed. That was not in our wildest imagination. And then Baba says that I come and plant that seed in your awareness that you belonged to that world and you operated in that world in the system of family. Yes, you were in a grihasthashram, in that world where there was no lust, anger, ego, attachment, and greed. And just think about what was your motivation to do work, to be in relationships, yes, to do whatever you did in that world. So, do you understand that in Satyug, if Sri Lakshmi Narayan didn't get up from the bed, still there would be no loss. So, they had everything just like that. So, they didn't need to go to work and show up to earn their bread. So, they had everything predestined for them. But still they got up and got up at Amrit Vela and still they were up and about all day. So what was the motivation? In that time, the motivation was the sanskar that they created in Sangam Yuga, right? So it was a sanskar that drives them. But now, what is our motivation? So you see that in the world, what is the motivation that motivates people? So it is the motivation of attainment, yes? It is whether pleasure or money or status or position or power. So we are all doing whatever we are doing because of that motivation. Yes. Why did you get up in the morning before Gyan? You got up because you had to go to work or because you had to make breakfast. So you did something, even the simplest act of getting up was motivated by something outside. So Baba says in this world, everybody is motivated by lust, anger, ego, attachment and greed. And it is so shameful when you think that if there is no lust in a relationship, then even the law says that relationship is may not survive, right? So in this world, it is such a vicious world that if people are bound by marriage and you prove in the court of law that there is no lust, then even the law grants you this facility that you can break free from the marriage because your lust is not being fed. So just think about where we have come in this shameful world where a human being is like a resource for sensual pleasure. And if that sensual pleasure is not being extracted from that human being, then that relationship has no validity or dignity. But Baba says that this is not how it was supposed to be. So Baba reminds us that in Satyug, did Sri Lakshmi Narayan get married for lust? Yes, or was that the motivation, or was attachment the motivation? No. So Baba says that in a world where we lived for 2500 years, we had no motivation given by vices. And now Baba says that you do whatever you do, not motivated by the attainment of the act, but motivated by my Shrimat. Yes. So why do you live in a family now? Because Baba asks you to. Yes. And it's not just in the Lokik family that you live on Baba's directions. Did Baba ask you to leave the Lokik family? No. Baba said stay in the household and remember me, leave the vices. So you are living in the Lokik family according to Baba's directions. And even when we live in the center, we don't live like a sannyasi, we live in a family. And we live in a family which is chosen by Baba. And we live in a family which is on Baba's directions. So why do I choose to live with a sister or some brother or somebody? Why would I choose to live with these people? Because these are the souls that Baba has asked me to live with. So Baba says that you live in relationships now not because of the lust or attachment or whatever is fed through that relationships, but because this is Baba's Shrimat, that live in the household and live in my remembrance and settle your karmic accounts. Okay, you go to work. What is your motivation now when you come to Baba? You go to work because Baba says go to work so that you can sustain your body and you can sustain Yajna Seva. So that is your motivation to go to work. You don't go to work to earn money and fulfill your desires and dreams and this and that, but you don't go to work because of greed that's fueling you, but you go to work because Baba has asked us that you must earn your own bread and you must feed your own body and you must also have some resource so that you can do Yajna Seva. So Baba says that when you want to go to that world where you do everything, you live in the world, you do work, you live in relationships, but you have no vices, then you have to create those sanskars here. And how do you create those sanskars? You create those sanskars by now doing everything on Shrimat. Everything is motivated by Baba's directions. So this is it. And then Baba today says, let jewels emerge from your mouth and not stones. Yes. What happens when you give somebody a jewel and what happens when you throw stone at somebody? Yes. So when you throw a stone, then that person gets hurt. And when you give a jewel, that person feels worthy and happy. So Baba says that the effect of your words on somebody should be that they feel happy and feel valuable. They shouldn't feel worthless, they shouldn't feel hurt or sorrowful through your words. And this is Baba's Shrimat for us. And Baba says that, and you know, in recent times, I have much more appreciation for the value of words. Because you know, sometimes it is very difficult to gauge how powerful the impact of words is. And have you seen that people these days don't have the capacity to gauge somebody's intentions. They rely on words. Yes, if somebody is speaking softly and sweetly, you listen to them, even if they have malicious intentions. But if somebody is rude to you, even if they have very noble intentions, you just shut your heart and ear to them and you're not even listening to them. So it's very important that you have a good heart. It's very important that you have good wishes and good feelings, but it is equally important that you voice them well. Because you know, if you have a very good heart, if you have very noble intentions and you have very good feelings for somebody, but if you're not using sweet words, then though that other soul's heart is not open for you and they don't receive anything from you. And it is very important that Baba says, Kam bolo, dhire bolo, meetha bolo. Yes, speak less, speak softly and speak sweetly. And it's very important that our words have that quality and our words have that impact, that somebody feels valuable and happy. And I don't put down somebody through my words, or I don't use words which cause sorrow to somebody. Because Baba has given us the law that if you give sorrow, then you will die in a sorrowful state. You will leave the body in a sorrowful state. And words are a very powerful medium. So whatever your intentions, you have to take care that your words match them. It's not like, most people are today saying that my intention is good, my language is such, or my tone is such, but you can't get away with these things. Baba says that the intention has an impact, but an equal impact is created by words. So be very careful that your words are like jewels and not like stones. Okay, Om Shanti.